Okay, let's talk about episodes 10 and 11 of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. I have my notes here. It's been a little while since I watched them, so let's see what was all happening. I want to start with Zane and Ashley, right? I wrote all the lies exposed. It's so strange, but not, I think this is common enough that women in Ashley's position don't require answers from their partner. They just sort of go along or nitpick or nag, but never really come to an actual solution to what's going on. So Zane has been lying. They've been married 8 years. He's been lying since the very beginning. The why of it, I'm not really sure. So it sounds like maybe he didn't want to marry the baby mama, like he doesn't view her as his wife or what he wants his wife to be or look like, but he definitely looks like he loves her, especially when she made that comment when they had to sit down about how, well, I'm respecting your marriage because I'm not effing him, right? Like, I could if I wanted to. I'm thinking maybe Zane put his kid's mom in the category of fallback. Like, she's the one I go to in between relationships. She's the one I cheat on my main with because she's always there and she's like always available, but she's not really who I want to be with. Okay. So he's been knowing this lady. His family has known her since before he even met Ashley, and he already had children with her. So it sounds like a long history that they've had, and they're on speaking terms, right? It does not look like there's hate between them, and especially with the comment about like her being able to sleep with him if she wanted to. I definitely believe her. I definitely think we as women know when we can have access to a man who we've been with in the past. The situation with the baby. So Ashley believes that this is not Zane's biological child. Apparently Zane never explained to her that I know this wasn't my child. Like, for sure he knows. I think he's been saying I don't think, but he knows for sure it's not his child. But he gave the child his last name because the child's father was going to be unavailable. It definitely feels like him and Michelle, the kid's mom, have something, right? Like an underlying appreciation, value, respect, love, something that you would offer at that point in time to give a last name to a child that's not yours. It's quite loving, right? All the other kids have the same last name. The kid's father is not available. I think he's in prison or something. Can't be in the child's life. It was given married. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the man was married. But they all agreed to give the child Zane's last name. Ashley was aware that the child had the last name, didn't like it. He got Michelle pregnant before he got engaged to Ashley, right? So this child is the same age as the length of their marriage. You know, we can't go back and change history, but it just seemed like she should have never married him. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure I would marry a man that had a newborn, like at our 1 year anniversary. That doesn't really make sense to me. But women, listen, we've all been dumb for a man. So now Ashley wants the last name to be changed if the DNA test says it's not his biological child. I believe Michelle when she says it's not his. Like, I'm telling you, it's not his. I believe her. I don't think it's his. But what is the purpose of changing the last name now, 8 years later? Well, he's not, like, you don't even have to be a Copeland. I don't even know, like, what does that even mean? He's not a Copeland. So you can just take his last name and that's going to solve everything. I think Ashley likes having problems or like having something that she wants to address. If Zane changes the last name, she's still gonna be mad about something. Then it'll be, well, he shouldn't come to family functions, or he shouldn't be around, or we shouldn't have to whatever. Like, she's just gonna find something else to have a problem about, because I think the underlying issue here is she does not trust him. They have a relationship that's been built on a foundation of lies, and she don't trust him. I wouldn't trust him neither. So either you build a trust and you stop finding problems that don't exist, or you leave him, right? You find a relationship with somebody that you can trust, because if you don't have trust in your relationship, you really don't have anything. I am glad that Zane told the truth when Michelle was confirming the actual timeline, because he definitely was trying to set this up as like, you two grown women not getting along or not having a conversation. No, sir. They don't even have to have a conversation. You are the one that's in between this and need to have a conversation with the truth separately with these women so that your wife can be the one on the same page. The way Ashley walked out of there talking about your wife is the one you have to come home to, your wife, was definitely giving you just wanted to be chosen, and that's why you married this man. Listen, this is why I say I want women to focus on the way a relationship feels rather than how it looks, especially to other people, because now you are in a long-term marriage. You're gonna be like almost 10 years with this guy, and he's been lying to you from the very beginning, but you got chosen and so that was enough. No, we gotta raise the bar for what enough is. Like, I do not think your peace and happiness is worth just being able to walk around and say, I'm a wife. Maybe it is for Ashley. I just think that's a really chaotic way to live. I think the person you pick as your partner is one of the most important decisions you will ever make in your life. It could mean decades of happiness and joy, or it could mean decades of unhappiness and pain and suffering. Like, you really get to choose, and I do not think Ashley chose well. In episode 11, they do a follow-up with them. I definitely think Ashley is a joke. I am laughing at her, trying to talk about setting boundaries or limits. Zane is smirking at her because he knows she's not, like, honest with herself. Like, oh, you gonna do this? Girl, you're not requiring nothing of this man. And his lame song, which was so negative in terms of like comparing, like competitively putting women against each other. You like that nonsense. You really do. Because that's what you wanted to say cheers to. Like the baby mom. Like, come on, get out of here. Like, you deserve better. And I'm going to need y'all to do better than the bootleg picnic on the front lawn. Let's talk about Kirk and Rasheeda. Listen, I grew up in a Christian household. And when you think Christian, I want you to think all the ways Christian. Limitations on the kind of things we can watch, the kind of words we can say, Bible study at home, church 3 times a week. Like, I went to church. So while I love the transparency between Rasheeda and the kids, because they're grown, there's something about kids cussing, especially with big cuss words, effing this and be that, something about that among kids I do not like. It also reminds me of how a lot of people in America talk about our elders and want to shame people for being old. You sound so dumb. So I feel like there's a respect something issue going on here, or like a boundary, like we're peers. I don't think we're peers, but maybe that's how they raise their kids. I do not recommend raising your kids as friends or as peers. I do think because you are older and you have more wisdom and experience that kids should defer to you. Even there's a way to do it in adulthood where you respect them as adults, but they're not your peers. Like, these are not your friends. And if adults, like moms, are friends with their adult kids, I'm like, is this a healthy relationship? Because, like, I don't mean like friends. I might be able to call my mother a friend. Like, I talk to her about like my real life stuff, but she's still my mother. Like, she's my mother. I can really go to her for advice. She's not coming to me for advice. I mean, she might come to me about my level of expertise in psychology, but she's not like calling me about her money problems. She's not telling me about relationship issues. I just think that is a boundary I don't think is healthy for kids and adults to cross. But anyway, they have that conversation. In the next episode, I think all we have to see is like Kirk repeatedly bringing up that what his baby mama name is. She just looks like a villain. That his baby mama is telling people that Mendices was at her bar. Okay, I mean, I really think that's a distraction. You're trying to deflect against the point that you and your baby mama have all these issues, and you are the one that was inappropriately messaging her and perhaps offering money or something. You did something inappropriate. So I don't know. Is that a real thing? Because she made that comment. I don't know if it's a real thing. And then Carly Red and Sierra had a joint engagement party, and one of them made the comment about like, we stayed having a man, we stayed keeping a man or something like that. I'm like, Do y'all? Because it's like a different man every 9 months. I don't think you all have mastered keeping a man. And I definitely argue no man can be kept. A man stays if he wants to. So in the department of getting engaged, like, is it just to get engaged? Like, the celebration is just about engagement? Like, I really want to celebrate long-term healthy relationships. And I do not think that they have figured out how to do that, even with like friends, which is quite sad. The end of episode 10 was the baby shower, baby brunch. And I feel like a lot happened, but nothing happened. Zell came in looking, to me, drunk. I don't know if he was, but he was giving inebriated or intoxicated or under the influence, especially with those shades on. Let me see those eyes. What you hiding? So he comes in there, has an attitude because Shanika, what her name is? How you say her name? Is making jokes about he made like a real baby and it wasn't like a IVF kind of baby. And for some reason, he's so offended by this. I don't think he's so offended. I think he's so drunk that he's now like sensitive to a friend making a joke. Okay, maybe it's not a good joke, but I felt it was an overreaction, especially when he started cussing people out and be this and shut your mouth and all of that. Like, we friends or we not friends? My goodness. The way people talk to each other. Maybe they're co-workers. I don't think the co-workers like that either, but okay. I'm not on a reality show. Then Saucy Santana comes in, and I never watched the episodes where Saucy and Zell were in a relationship. I really can't see them being in a relationship or like laying down next to each other and whispering sweet nothings. I cannot see it. But it seems like Saucy really cares, like is really like invested in Zell identifying as bisexual and, not making the best decisions when it comes to this girl. I think Saucy doesn't have all the information. I'm really not sure Zell just happened to get a random girl pregnant. But I don't know Zell like that. Maybe he did. Maybe he's doing all the, not safe. You don't even know this girl. She just get drunk and do everybody. Maybe he doesn't know who this girl is. And he was just so excited to have a child that he was just raw dogging anybody. I don't know. It's just strange. This whole thing is strange. I feel like he must have known her in some kind of way, right? I still don't believe that story about we met in Mexico. I don't believe any of that. I think this was planned, right? I think this was a decision they made sober. It doesn't feel like a decision that was made without thought. It really feels like Zell thought about, I want a child. Saucy then saying that he don't even have a job. I don't know. That doesn't really make sense to me because he's on Love and Hip Hop. What do you mean? Maybe he doesn't have multiple streams of income, but Love and Hip Hop is a job. I don't know what else he does or is supposed to be doing, but the fact that you say he don't have a job, I don't know. It all came out very rude, disrespectful from Saucy. The things he was saying like made sense, but you saying them when the person is standing right there when you talking to somebody else, like that's so rude. Like that's so inconsiderate and it feels hurtful. But then Zell comes closer to have the conversation with him, but not making eye contact. It's just a bunch of drama. I did make a note about how it seems like Saucy Santana is the only one who performs. Like this is Love and Hip Hop, but only Saucy is performing. But in the next episode, we do see Spice performing, and so that was cool. Spice, and then what's her name? Amy. Okay. Moving on to most of the things that happened in episode 11. Sierra was up and down this episode. I really enjoyed how it started with the anger. It was the anger management communication counselor or something like that. I think he asked great questions. I like that they answered the questions. I like that Sierra's mom didn't get a chance to interrupt her and, had some space and people witnessing it so that she could just sit and listen to it. She was a bad mom. I don't know why. Like, it is important to tell the truth and feel the feelings of that truth and then move on. She was a terrible mother. And that might hurt to say, but it's the truth. She had a whole bunch of trauma herself, a whole bunch of issues. That's true. And so you can go blame your mom for that. But it's your responsibility to heal, especially before you have kids or when you have the kids, that you are actively practicing healing and using like more positive coping skills. So the fact that, you know, she was in an abusive relationship, this man would choke her out, like all of that can get your kids taken away from you. And I don't know if Sierra was taken away from her mom, but the way those girls were raised, it was like a dog eat dog's world. It's so sad that so much trauma existed in Sierra's childhood. She does, I don't want to say I was going to say she does play the victim. That's not what I want to say. That might be true, but Sierra has not been able, I don't know if she hasn't been able, okay, I don't know, okay? I don't know. I don't think Sierra has had the right space to tell her story, to get validated, so that she can stop telling the same story. Sierra has the words down packed to tell the same story. My mom did this. I was an angry child. Da, 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 right? It's the same story. You, at some point, you have to acknowledge that's my story. Like, that's a chapter in the book of my story, but there are so many other chapters that I can write, and it just seems that she has a hard time moving on. I think she's looking for something from her mom that she's not getting. And if I was her therapist, I'd say, honey, you have to do this for you. You cannot do this to then get your mom to say, oh my gosh, you are so right. I was a terrible mom and I should have done this better and that better, and I'm so sorry. Like, it's a beautiful thing when a parent can acknowledge what they did wrong, but we cannot require that. If we require it, it would mean our healing is on pause until another person does something. And that is just giving too much power away. Like, you take the ownership of your own feelings and you say, you know what? I'm going to let go of all the pain that I'm carrying. I'm going to let go of this burden. I'm going to, you know, look at my mother as a woman and say, I wish she could have done better. But she didn't. She didn't have the tools, and I forgive her. I'm going to move on. I'm not going to hold it against her. It does not mean that you then have to still be in community with your mom or have a relationship with your mom. I do try to encourage my clients to, in some way, have a communication, whether it's just holidays or just birthdays. But you don't have to be in her life at all. Like, y'all can go no contact. But you have to be able to live healthily and still have relationships with other women and have like romantic relationships, so that you're not stuck in this hurt place and your inner child is calling out constantly to be loved and appreciated by you. Like, Sierra has to develop the capacity to deal with herself. So then when the Sierra goes and fixes things with Bam, okay, that was cute. But then, and she also had on clothes. I feel like I have to say that now since I started it going. Bambi had on clothes. Sierra then going to the listening party for Spice and having this issue with Amy. There was no issue with Amy. In previous episodes, Sierra made a negative comment about how Amy wasn't like streaming well or doing well, or nobody's like listening to her music. And maybe it was like a heat of the moment. These girls are mean. These girls are mean and ruthless and cutthroat with their words. I don't think she remembered. And if she does remember, I don't think she thought it would hurt Amy as much, or that she would remember it or write about it in a song. Like that one line, you so bothered, whatever. Amy wrote about it in the song, talked about Sierra, talked about Bambi, and Sierra thought the song was just about Bambi. Or she just heard a beat, like a lot of people do, just heard a beat and was like, da 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 da. A lot of people are not paying attention to the programming of music. And so y'all be listening to anything. That was Sierra dancing and full of lying because she had no idea this woman was talking about her. Okay, somebody points out to her, girl, they talking about you. Talking about you. Wild. How hurtful. Oh my gosh, how hurtful. So then Sierra says what she has to say to Amy, and then gets really upset at Spice because Spice won't put Sierra on the album. Spice is saying this is a cast album. This is to bring us together. Da 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 da. But Spice approved this song. And this song is quite divisive. So on the one hand, I understand, okay, you know, a little spiciness, a little conflict is good for marketing an album. I can see why Spice left it in. But because we're friends, and you're supposed to have my back if we're friends, but these people ain't really friends, okay? So this is why Spice could let it happen. If this was my good friend, right? If this was my good friend, girl, you can't even say those things around me about my friend, talking about her like that. I would check you. That doesn't exist here. People like to pretend like it does exist, but it doesn't exist here. So I get why Spice left it in. Spice getting so upset that Sierra is so upset is wild though. Girl, like, own it. You said this song could be on the album, so then own it. Respect it, girl. This wasn't nothing personal. This is business. This is gonna be good for the album. I wanted to leave it in. How you gonna be fighting now, arguing with Sierra about how I'm your friend, I'm your friend? And just they definitely do not know, like, this group does not know what it means to be a friend. I think they have real friendships outside of the show, but amongst each other on the show, I don't know why we call each other friends, because we're not friends, okay? And that's why Spice could do what she did, because we're not friends. Not really. We pretend friends. We associates. Even better. Why would I go out of my way to defend an associate? I wouldn't. No, talk your shit, girl. Ooh, cutthroat line. Ooh. And the last interesting thing that happened in episode 11 was Amy and Scrappy. So Amy is full of nonsense. I don't like Amy. Not that I know her to like her or not like her. I don't like that she is starting a rumor that she and Scrappy have something when they don't. I think it was great that Spice said it out loud in front of everybody so that Amy could deny it. Because if she didn't, it would just continue whispers between people about how there's something between Amy and Scrappy, and there's nothing. But Amy is just trying to start something because she's mad at Bambi. The comparison is still wild. Bambi is dating a guy you dated a decade ago. But you want to make up rumors about her ex-husband who she has kids with? Girl, this is wild. I'm just like a fresh divorce. Like, make it make sense. Like, you don't feel like that's immoral, like, on your part, just as a woman, you don't feel bad doing that to another woman, even if you don't like her? That makes sense to you? It don't make no sense to me. Scrappy like woman. So Amy has a really nice body. I mean, she's beautiful in all the ways. Men will anything. So if she gonna open her legs, I definitely think he would. I don't think Scrappy has any scruples about him, and he will get it wet. I do think he would. I think if she was offering, he would. I do not think she's really offering. I think she's just starting a rumor so that she can get back at Bambi. Wild. Okay. That's Love and Hip Hop. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe for more, and thank you for watching.